can hear me over this. Welcome to Tengagu Falls. I'll do my best to try and talk into the microphone. So we've had a bit of an adventure getting here, as Stan and I, mainly because there'd been a rock slide at some point overnight, and there was a huge digger machine that was trying to flatten the road and fill it out. So I've got a little bit of footage. I'll pop that up now. So yeah, you can see we didn't think we were going to get here. I've just spent about 10 minutes on a very precarious bike ride on the back of a moped with a young chap who doesn't understand speed limit in any language or country, and he just pelted for it over rocking route, which was exhilarating for him and buttock clenching for me. But I'm here safe. I'm here safe and sound. So let me set up and I'll show you what we've got here. Okay, again, I hope you can hear me over this. These falls are just amazing, really are. Take a look at that. That's just absolutely stunning. Stunning and noisy. I think you can tell. I think the composition just speaks for itself. We have this beautiful cascade here right in front of us, coming in on the right hand side, and that leads you up past that building, which is just up there for people to change, and then onto the falls in the background. We've got some beautiful soft light streaming in to this gorge. So as such, I'm probably going to have to focus slack slightly. Sorry, I definitely have to focus slack, but I'll also have to exposure blend because I don't want those highlights up there blown out. So I'm probably going to capture that first. I'm not going to do it so that I've got every detail up there, because the light coming through really adds something and draws your eye around the frame and then back up there. So I'm gonna use that as best I can. I'm saying that I'm probably just going to expand out a bit so I can catch a little bit more of that. So I'm currently around a second. I can go a little less than that. To capture that light. So 1/6 of a second. Probably go up to f16. Allow me just to go a little bit faster. So I'm going to stick with a second. I'm going to take that. I'm going to check the highlights. I don't mind them being blown slightly. I just want some of that to be preserved, and it's perfectly preserved. Very minimal blowout, and as you know, that's a JPEG representation, so I can always pull that back if necessary. But what I am interested in, I'm just going to see what a second's done to this water. I haven't focused on it, but I want to see, and that water is absolutely divine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus stack all the way down at a second, and then what I'll do is I'll probably adjust the exposure time just here on this front falls to get maximum detail. So let me just come along, focus on those on the falls at the top end of this little cascade. In the middle of the frame, there's going to be some slight movement of the leaves around us, but I don't think that matters. It's a dynamic environment anyway. So I'm just focusing on that waterfall. Focus on that rock. This near triangular rock sort of brings you in. And what I am going to do is I'm just going to see I'm going to adjust the polarizer. I don't mind reflections further up, but on this front rock where the water's cascading over it, I've just used the polarizer to take that away. Perfect. Okay, one last look, make sure we're happy with that before I start changing the shutter speed. So we're at a second. I'm going to adjust the shutter speed to get about half a second now, just here in the front. So I'm just going to pop this down. For half a second. I'm probably just going to bump the ISO just to bring it back up. I'm going to take that and then have a look at it. That's really nice. It's a bit more texture. I think we're done with that. So if that's all blended together and that works, I'll pop that up now. Okay, so before I head up further up, I think I really want to take a shot down the canyon. I'm probably going to throw this into portrait orientation, and the great thing is we're facing away from any of that water splashing and bobbing about, so I can just double check the front of our lens. Perfectly clear. I'm really pleased with that. I'm going to shift along slightly. Now the question, as I just said, is do I go portrait? I actually think landscape will work really well here, as you can see. So let's put our ISO back down, put our shutter speed back up. Now we know about a second was working before. We might have to do a touch longer this time. We are going to focus stack once again. So I'm going to keep it at f16. Remember that on medium format, the lens renses depth of field differently at any given aperture. So if I was at f11 on medium format and f11 on here, the depth of field on medium format is much narrower, so therefore I have to push it a bit further, 13 or 16. I tend to stick mainly around 16, drop down to 14 or 13 if necessary, but 16 is my go-to. I've never noticed any softness, any diffraction, anything like that, so I'm more than happy with it as it is. As you can see, we've got that light up in that top corner again. Now, probably going to center that a little bit so it's more in the middle. So I'm just going to do one more focus just here on that foliage at the end of this little canyon. So that's done. Now I need to look and see what this water's doing at a second or 1.3. I think I'm going to go the full hog. I'm going to do a super long exposure, make it like glass, and then I'm going to do some shorter exposures to bring this texture that's coming in from the left hand side. So let me get on and do that. So I'm going to have to use an ND filter to slow that water down. I want at least a minute, maybe 2. I'll try it for a minute. And again, if I haven't recommended him before, I'll pop Stanny's details here so you can see if you're ever coming to Sumba, then get in contact, because he's an awesome guy, goes completely out your way. He makes sure that you're looked after in every single way. I'm just adjusting the polarizer. I want maximum glare on that water because these rocks are quite dark, so I don't mind that. And I may take one also when I do a shorter exposure to take any glare off the rocks themselves. But for the time being, I'm more than happy to have that water reflecting the sky and the green foliage. So I'm using a 6-stop. Make sure that we clean it. There we go. So a 6-stop, we're around a second, so I know this will give me a minute, and if I need to I can push it to 2, but a minute is what I was requiring. So I'm just going to focus just some way in. In fact, I'm going to focus just on this ledge here to give me maximum depth of field. And then we'll come up to a minute. I think we might get 2 out of this. I'm going to go 2. Go the longest one first. And then if I'm happy, I don't have to do the minute exposure. Done. Okay, probably saw me scrambling down with the help of trusty Stan and an entire gaggle of onlookers. So let's, on a precarious little, beautifully shaped rock though, that's whether I want to keep that rock in now that I'm here. So yeah, and you can probably see that we are just a touch too bright. So there we go. I've set this up on our super pano, and you can see that it's just a touch too bright for us. So 25 seconds is too much. And anyway, we're gonna, I think I'll leave that in for a second. I'm just gonna come down and see what we can get with it on, so that I can be flexible and not popping it in or out. I'm just going to adjust the polarizer I want to emphasize that white movement, so I'm using the polarizer to its fullest extent, and I'm using it to take away the glare from those rocks. Really do like this composition. I can't move any further to the left to get more of this fall in here past this rock, because then I'm introducing, there's a stick just there, and then that starts intruding on this one. So I think I've got the best of both worlds sat here. So that's given us an 8-second shot. I'm just going to take that, I'll focus on the background, and we'll just give that 8 seconds. I've got a feeling that's too fast, but that'll give me a baseline. This water's moving quite fast, so anything from a quarter of a second up to a second will do me, I think. But you know me, I like to have super smooth base water with colour to start off with. So let me have a look at that. That immediately is very nice. Really is very nice. And I'll have a touch of a dilemma later as to whether I paint that stick out. I probably won't, but I know it will annoy me. But what can you do? So I really like that at 8 seconds. But I am now going to adjust the ISO and the shutter speed until I get something I really nice. So I'm going to, first I'll focus stack this at 8 seconds. So I'll focus stack all the way down, all at 8 seconds. And then I'll set my focus in the middle, the confluence of all that water, and then I'll play with a whole range of different shutter speeds, so I can then paint in the one that I like best. Now, there's one thing I'd like to say here. I'm actually very limited because it's quite a trek in. I only brought one lens, the 20 to 35. Am I regretting that? Yes. I think I could have got some really nice close-ups of the falls ahead with the 100 to 200. But I was considering weight. First time being here. Okay, final of the day, I reckon. So again, I'm probably going to come down to about a second. I do like that. I think we can probably push it a bit longer. 13 seconds. And then I'll focus stack, make sure we got the rock spot on. It's lovely. Got some nice water, and I can blend that in later. We're done at these falls, so Listen, thank you very much for joining me here. It's been an absolute joy. It's a perilous journey. Anyone that follows after, they're doing a brand new road, which I think is going to be a godsend for anyone else coming in. But for me here, I'm going to sign off, call it quits, because I don't want to have to drive in the dark, and it will get dark really quickly here. So wherever you are, please look after yourself, look after your loved ones. Until next time, see ya.